What it is, folks, your homeboy Fur back again with another episode of the realest, most entertaining sports show in the game. Put it on something. Got my brothers here with me. Tim G. Jacob T. What the business here, dog?
Hey man, just here at the secret location, you know what I'm saying? Just trying to, get all tucked in real good so I can keep getting live from the new spot, as I like to call it, the new spot.
He's moving into his palatial estate, America. Caesar, what the business here, dog?
Man, glad to be here with you, man. God is great. The usual. The usual. Let's do it.
Oh yeah.
Already. Well, America, before I get into it, y'all know this is sponsored by Statement Tees. At Statement Tees, every t-shirt you wear makes a statement. I appreciate all of you who have been shopping with us. Real talk. You understand? So continue to do so. Go to statementllc.com, copy something, or follow us on Facebook and hit us up for something custom that you might like. You understand? But America, my brother Tim G. Jacob felt some type of way about how sports media been flip-flopping, how they been real flawed, real going back and forth when it comes to these playoffs. You know what I'm talking about? T, go ahead and say what's on your mind.
I don't want to be KD in the same line trying to get at sports media people. But man, y'all gotta stop. Like, the amount of extreme panic with professional basketball these days, it's like, okay, let's just go for an example. Let's just get right into it. The Boston-Miami series, right? After game 5, Miami was supposed to win another game in this series. Granted, Miami is the number 1 seed in the East. Boston you could say, had they had their stuff together at the beginning of the year, they could have probably been the number 1 seed in the East. And it's like, after the game 5, everybody was like, Miami is not going to win another game. And I'm sitting there going, well, what do you think these guys are made of when it comes to, okay, game to game type stuff? You have a bad night, you get back in the gym, you get back in the video room, you figure it out, you make adjustments. Coaches make game plans that change from game to game. Maybe they don't like something they did in game 5 that they'll do different in game 6. That may make an impact. Or maybe the stars just show up like Jimmy did in game 6. Now, granted, game 7, that is what it is. They lost, they fell on the sword, they out. But everybody acts like Miami just was supposed to just tuck under going on the road. Some teams have resolve. Some teams have resiliency. They said going into this series that 75% of the media said that Golden State was going to win this series. Okay? Not everybody said it was going to be a sweep. A lot of people said it was going to be a challenge. Game 1, it was like, oh, it's over. Some people even told me they went to sleep in the third. They was like, oh, it's a wrap. I'm going to go to bed, get ready for work. Boston had a phenomenal fourth quarter. Now the media wants to tell me Warriors are in trouble. When have the Warriors ever been in trouble? Outside of the year, the Toronto year, and I guess the 3-1 year. Okay. But these boys usually ain't in trouble. And again, they have a very good head coach. They have a very good team. And these guys are going to make adjustments. They're going to go back to the lab and figure out what they didn't do right in game 1 and do better in game 2. That's what I expect from the Warriors. But it's like every time something happens, it's like it's kind of a microcosm of the world to me. It's like, okay, something goes on. Certain things, not everything. Some things need to be taken to that extreme, but some stuff is like, okay, it's kind of like, I'll be honest with you, where I work sometimes something happens, they put 9 rules in place to make sure it don't happen. And it's like, wait a minute, but it's worked the last 99 times. So why are we changing it up? What works. But yet the media today is like, it's like Kendrick Perkins on First Take. they showed how many times he picked teams to win it all. And I think it was like 5 or 6 times he had named a different team. It's like Dallas or Phoenix or Golden State or the Nets or Boston, whatever, and it's like really? Like sports media is really tripping these days. They really ain't keeping it real. And what I like to say today officially is if you're tired of that BS, you looking at the people to see. Cause we gonna keep it a buck. You got every opportunity to sit here and say, Tim G, you were wrong. I ain't got no problem with you telling me I'm wrong. I get told I'm wrong every day. It'd be fine. I got a 6-year-old. He tell me I'm wrong every day. So ain't nothing new. This ain't no problem. But the media got to stop. Like, teams are gonna make adjustments. Teams are gonna figure it out. The good ones, that's why they're in the finals, because they're gonna figure it out. Tell me this. When's the last time you seen a 4-0 sweep in the finals? You ever seen one?
Oh, yeah, I've seen it. 95 was a 4-0.
Okay.
Totally
outmatched.
They had Shaq and Penny.
Totally outmatched.
Stop that.
Young. Totally
they
outmatched.
They beat Mike and Scotty.
Totally outmatched. Young. Shaq didn't want to get his weight together.
The Spurs swept LeBron and them in 2007.
Now, that was totally outmatched.
No, okay, I'll give you that one.
Did y'all sweep the Nets?
Did we sweep the Nets?
Or did they get one?
I can't remember the Nets getting one.
I can't remember. We did a gentleman sweep on AI. The Warriors did a gentleman sweep on the Cavs.
What about Detroit against y'all that year?
I'm not speaking on 2000. T, why you want to bring up 2004?
We keeping it a buck. What was it? We're trying to figure out the last time.
I'm trying to. You know what? Let me sip some of this grape juice. Try to get my blood pressure back. It's gonna make my sugar go up, but I'm trying to keep my blood pressure down.
Put some ice in it. Put some ice in it. But that's all I'm saying. Today, now in this game, guys have gotten way much better. Way much better. Teams are much better. The players much better. People are gonna figure things out. So let's just stop it, sports media, with all this going to the left. Warriors might not, all whatever craziness is out there that I ain't seen. Let's just stop it. Teams are good. Teams are great. That's why they're here. That's why they're at this point in the playoffs. Just give them their respect. They faltered in the fourth. They played poorly. And I told my wife this. I told my wife before she went to the shower, I said, Golden State finna trick off this fourth quarter. When she walked back out, she said to me, what in the world just happened? I said, I just told you, didn't I? What did I just tell you? What did I just tell you? They finna trick off this fourth quarter. And they tricked it off.
Caesar, what you think about sports media switching up on these boys, man? You think are you in agreement with T that the Warriors gonna right this ship and that everybody just overreacting?
I mean, as far as the media goes, they're always overreacting, but that's what they're paid to do. So I can't even really say they're wrong for it. They have to do the hyperbole talk. They have to do the woe is me talk. They got to do the skies falling talk. Here's the reality of it. We are in a 3-point shooting league. All right. And not just this series, but if you look back to the entire season, but if we're just talking playoffs, stick to that. This playoffs, last year before, you were seeing blowouts in these series where you'll see one team win by 15, and then the next game, that team loses by 15. You'll see that team win by 20, then that team will lose by 20. And you say to yourself, like, what's going on? Well, it's really not that big of a deal. All that is that one team was hot one game and then they got cold the next, because teams live and die by the three. And what you're seeing in this series in particular, and what I think you're going to see, is that the Warriors, we all know, are a 3-point shooting team. But even the Celtics, when they fall in love with that 3 ball, or their star player and Jason Tatum goes cold, which what you saw in game 1, you will see a lull in the game for the Celtics. Now, they're so good defensively that they'll always keep themselves available to come back in a win. And that's all that happened in game 1.
Yeah.
What happened was they were falling behind because Jason Tatum had an atrocious, sound like Stephen A. Smith a little bit with the word atrocious, but had a really bad first 3 quarters. And then guys that don't normally get hot started getting hot from the three ball. Al Horford and Marcus Smart are not 3-point shooters, man. They can shoot three, but they're not 3-point shooters. They got hot, and at the end of the day, that's what happened. So they come back and win the game. All right. Now, for the Celtics, they should feel good about that. Why? Well, because you won the game and Jason Tatum had a horrible game. First team All NBA had a bad game, and then you figure out a way to get it done. But that doesn't mean that Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Poole, all these guys are going to have another bad fourth quarter. What you'll see is those guys will be hot, other guys will be cold, and so on and so forth. That is what we have seen in the playoff. You saw it with the Phoenix-Dallas series, where somebody would get, destroyed in game one and come back and destroy the other team in game two. So none of this really impresses me. All it is that guys get hot and they get cold, and that's what you see. What I'm hoping we see is in the finals, as each game goes on, you will see what each team thrives in rise to the top. And what I mean by that is you'll see that the Boston Celtics superior defense is what keeps them in games every game throughout this series. What you will see is that Steph Curry will be able to dominate who's ever in front of him. Like, those are the things that I would like to see. What I hope we don't see is that we have a 20-point win here and a 20-point win there, because that's just not exciting. Like, it may be exciting to the dedicated NBA fan that sees a 17-0 run. That's exciting for you to watch on TV, but really, to me, that's bad basketball. There is no way in the world that the Golden State Warriors, who have been in multiple championship series, blow a lead by letting another team, and I don't care who it is, go on a 17-0 run. When you have a legendary defender like Draymond Green, someone who is supposed to be one of the best, guard defenders of all time, and Klay Thompson, you can't give up a 17-point lead and not get a bucket when you have two of the greatest shooters ever. So that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes it's not as deep as what you think, right? Sometimes, like, the answer is right there. And in this case, I think in game one, that's what you saw. And as we play it out, I guarantee you'll see the Golden State Warriors come out and they'll get hot. They may not all get hot at the same time, but you'll have Steph get hot and Klay get hot. Like, they'll just take turns doing it. You'll have Poole come off the bench, and that's what'll happen too. And then you'll see the Celtics get hot. You'll see Jaylen Brown take over. Jason Tatum won't have another bad game like he did. This is the NBA as we know it. I have chosen to just accept it for what it is. It's not great basketball to me all the time. Sometimes it's very sloppy and unamusing. But this is the NBA that we have today, where guys like Al Horford, who should have his behind on the block, is out on an elbow shooting threes and made 5 or 6 of them? Made 5 or 6 of them, and that's the most that he's made ever. That's not going to happen again, guys.
He hit 6 of them.
Yeah, that's never going to happen again. Why? Because that's Al Horford. That's not a shot at Al Horford. That's just the real.
That's my sister say he want that ring, Caesar.
I understand he wants it, but he's not going to get it that way. The way he's going to get it is getting second chance opportunities and playing good defense. That's what they do. That's what they do. They didn't win that game the way that the Boston Celtics are supposed to win it. They won it because what we are accustomed to seeing the Warriors do, they didn't do it.
But would you say Boston has been shooting the ball very well in these playoffs? I'm talking about like overall.
Yeah, no. They've been shooting
the ball very well.
They've been shooting it well, but what I'm saying is this: if the Golden State Warriors play defense like they're supposed to play, Marcus Smart, I understand he's not a 3-point shooter, but he shouldn't be shooting butt naked threes from the corner. That's all I'm saying.
I agree with that.
I understand that Devin White is having out of body experience in game one, but before that, he couldn't hit the backboard. So, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're seeing things that are happening because it's a trend of guys getting hot. I'm not expecting to see Devin White make those same threes over and over. Derek White over and over and over again. Because if he does, then the Boston Celtics have a great chance of winning a championship. But in the last series, I literally watched this guy struggle to make baskets. So you can't tell me he's struggling to make baskets and all of a sudden he's an elite shooter. It just doesn't go together. That's just the NBA that we're in. They do probabilities and they say eventually I'll hit enough of these to put the pressure on the defense to where they have to switch things up. And I think that's what we saw in game 1. But that's not the game plan for the Boston Celtics moving forward. The game plan is Jason Tatum first, Jaylen Brown second, excellent defense from everybody along the way. That's how they'll figure out a way to be successful. On the other end is Steph Curry always, Klay Thompson sometimes, and then let's get Poole hot when he comes off the bench, and hopefully Andrew Wiggins remembers that he's a talented individual. That's their game plan moving forward.
Well, T, you know how I feel about your comments about the media. I keep telling America that I'm coming for my check. I keep telling you this, America, because major sports media, once KD left, said the Warriors were dead. They said the Diners, they were so disrespectful to this organization. So disrespectful. Now, as TJ said, pre-series, everybody on that pre-show picked the Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody. That's Mr. Will Bond, because he the real OG.
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
They tried to give it to Skip and Stephen A. But I've been watching Will Bond and Kornheiser since I was in high school.
Okay? Northwestern educated Michael Wilbon.
That's right. So shout out to Mike Wilbon. But he picked them. Stephen A. picked them. Jalen Rose picked them. And Green picked. All of them picked them. Okay? And then, like you said, after the game, whoop, the pendulum just swung. But we didn't learn nothing different in that game.
Not a thing.
Okay? And Caesar heard this during the telecast as well. Not that last game, but maybe a previous game. Yeah. Where they told us every member of the Boston Celtics starting 5 received the Defensive Player of the Year vote. All 5 starters received at least one Defensive Player of the Year vote. Out of the top 10 vote getters, they have the Defensive Player of the Year, Marcus Smart, and they had 2 other players in the top 10 in voting, with Horford, I would think, was 9th, and then at 7th they had Mr. Williams.
Yeah.
Okay. And those 3 guys are not even their 2 most athletic players in Tatum and Brown.
That's real.
So I don't know what sports media thinking. Like, these boys, even when Steph came out there and went crazy in the first half, social media was having an orgasm.
Mm-hmm.
Boston was right there.
Yeah.
And then in the second, then I was texting my brothers, America, and I was telling them that first quarter, I said, Boston playing dumb. Like, they still in the game, but they playing dumb because Steph would be holding Jaylen Brown, but they wouldn't attack.
Or Tatum.
Steph would be on Tatum. They not attacking.
Mm-hmm.
Second quarter, though, they did. And then I'm watching, like, Skip and Shannon. They're like, oh, I don't know what Steve Kerr was thinking. Steph was rolling in the first. Why'd they keep him out so much in the second quarter? Because he got in foul trouble. He had an offensive foul on a push-off, and he got 2 other fouls because they started targeting him defensively, because I don't care about him lifting the weights. The man don't guard. He's such a better defender. That man can't guard these boys. He doesn't do it.
Sounding real Patrick Beverly-ish.
No, Pat be capping, because if he trying to Pat, I don't know. Pat, it's like Pat, you would think he would have more respect for Chris Paul, numerous time all defensive team guy.
About to call him a cone.
But he got more love for Steph game, and Steph just a one-way player. So when I look at these boys, I look at Steph. You got a guy playing 38 minutes that last game, can't guard. Got Jordan Poole playing 25 minutes, can't guard. You got Klay, who used to be that guy that Caesar was talking about. You know what I'm saying? He's made an all-defensive team. I think second team maybe. But I don't know if he like that no more. You got Tatum, who played poorly offensively in terms of scoring the ball.
In terms of scoring, he had a ton of assists.
That boy had 13 assists.
Yeah, kept himself in the game.
And played defense. So this Joker ended up plus 16 in plus minus.
Yeah.
Is this the first time plus minus been mentioned on here?
I don't think so. I think JoJo usually go plus minus.
Okay, because that sounds pretty good there.
Yeah, but a plus 16 on the plus minus. So he's affecting the game in other ways. And a Michael Jordan fan like me, a Kobe Bryant fan like me, I've seen games in which those guys don't shoot well. I've seen those games.
Yeah.
All right, America, I'm not one of those ones who act like Michael Jordan was 60% shooting every game. I've seen some games in which Mike was god awful shooting the ball, but he still was a clamp and he still could assist the ball. And that's what Jason Tatum did in that particular game. And them boys stole one. All that experience them boys were talking about.
I ain't gonna say they stole it. They took that game.
No. What I'm saying is, T, if the Warriors are supposed to be the ones with the most experience, they did some tally showing that they
100 games versus zero.
Versus zero. Yeah.
So I think that's number 3 or something.
Yeah, like Chicago did it.
Magic and the Lakers had way more experience than the 91 Bulls. And then the 97 Bulls had way more experience than the 97 Jazz.
Yes. Yep.
And then now you got these Warriors. Okay. Yep. Well, the Warriors were supposed to be the ones to know how to close out that game. You're at home. You got the 3 Hall of Famers. No Steph first ballot. I don't know what ballot them other boys gonna go, but they going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You know, and Draymond and Clay. You got Steve Bell, who they got him on the all-time coaching list. They got Steve as a top 15 all-time coach. Can't lose that game, man.
Steve, it's on Steve. This game is on Steve, and this is my last point. Steve Kerr does not need to sit up here and act like, okay, Steph is just nice with it on both ends of the flow. He can't sit up here and act like Clay is just 100% who Clay was pre-injury. He can't do that. When you got guys on the bench with athleticism like Iggy, even at his age, advanced age, as I like to say, Gary Payton Jr. and a Kuminga, you play those guys because they give you an athletic edge. Gary Payton Jr. is a very good defender. Solid.
So now don't look like he got a second.
He never even touched the floor.
Is he fully cleared?
They said he was active. That's what I saw. He was active to play. So why not play him? Why not play Kuminga? Why not play Jonathan Kuminga, who is just as athletic as Wiggins, which they say Wiggins is the most athletic guy on their team.
Kuminga got 48 seconds.
He got the he got the last end of the cigarette. He was darn into the filter. That's what Kuminga got. And it's stupid. It's stupid. I don't think Iggy touched the floor until the third quarter. I don't remember seeing him in the first half.
He got 12 minutes.
Unless he came in late second. I don't remember seeing him in the second quarter. Mm-hmm. But it's crazy to me that you're not going to play your depth. Okay, Otto Porter Jr., he come in, he give you some scores, and that's it. But Otto Porter ain't no defender.
But now, T, to Caesar's point, you got 2 of the greatest shooters of all time. You got the greatest shooter of all time, undoubtedly. And you got Clay, who right up there. Mm-hmm. They can't go get 1 bucket to stop this 17-0 run. Forget what Steve got going on. Them boys can't go get a bucket.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes we look too deep into it. The media, the coaches, you look too deep into it. Listen, man. And this is what I mean by it. I'm not trying to throw shots at Marcus Smart and Al Horford. Here's the point that I'm making. I texted y'all in the group text when Marcus Smart in game 7 looked like he was point shaving because his 3-pointers were so, like, they were so far off that I'm like, this man must be trying to like win side money instead of going to the finals. Okay.
You saying he Calvin Ridley. Is that what you're saying?
The same guy was making those shots. So it's not about, it's just he was cold in game 7, like cold, and now he's making shots. Okay. Al Horford is not that guy, man, to be hitting clutch threes. Okay. He's making them in this game. So if Marcus Smart and Al Horford are doing it, where is Steph Curry and Klay Thompson in that moment to just simply say, they're coming back. And they're coming back in a way where we haven't made a bucket in a while. Where's Draymond where he's yelling at the refs for dumb stuff to look at his guys and say, hey, man, y'all need to shoot it. Y'all are meant to shoot it. It doesn't matter if you miss it, shoot it.
You got to have that leadership in that moment.
You have to have somebody
in that moment.
One person to grab Steph Curry. It should be Steph Curry. It should be Klay Thompson. So nobody should have to tell the 2 of the greatest shooters ever to shoot the ball. But what I'm saying is if they don't do it, then somebody go and snatch them up and say, listen, they're coming back. Shoot it.
Did they even call a timeout in that run?
Man, forget Steve Kerr.
Yeah.
Forget it.
Yeah, they called the timeout, and then they
Yeah.
came after the timeout, they turned it over.
They turned it
They
over.
came out to one of them timeouts, and before they could give us the camera shot, the ball was already going back down the other way.
Then the asses got tight. Then that's all.
But we see that from Golden State. Golden State during their run been loose with the ball now.
Forget Kevin.
They've always been
Kevin
loose
Looney,
with the ball.
who's been playing outside of his mind. Get that man his money when his time comes. Forget Andrew Wiggins. Forget Draymond Green. Forget Poole. It's two guys in that moment that should be like, I'm shooting it, and if we miss it, whatever. But I'm meant to shoot it in this moment. Those moments that Wells talking about with Jordan having these low percentage games and Kobe they have those because when they're down or when they see a team coming back, they just say, it's up to me to do it. Now, if I miss it, whatever. But Jordan is better shooting it than Pippen is. Kobe's better than shooting it than Rick Fox and Robert Horry are. That's just what it is, man. When you get to that level, we're talking about the NBA Finals, you have to stop the bleeding.
Yeah.
And they didn't do that. They watched Al Horford, Marcus Smart, White. Are you hearing the names that I'm saying? I haven't said Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum yet.
Hold on, don't do that.
I haven't said it yet. These guys are awesome defenders, but they are not the go-to scorers.
Them boy good.
And all of a sudden, the Golden State Warriors forgot that we got to put the ball in the basket too. That's what it comes down to, man. It's really not about these X's and O's. It's not about these X and O's. It's not about Kerr. It's not about the coaching staff for the Celtics either. At that point, it's coming down to two guys saying, are y'all seeing this? 17-0.
America, this is an inside thing. I apologize. me and Ray Coleman used to play high school basketball.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
They got tight.
Our head coach used to say, and I'm quoting him here. He would say, "Your ass is tight, fellas."
That's what he said.
That's what he said. To the point, America, where he didn't even put the sentence together.
Wouldn't even say a word
to you.
He
would just walk into the locker room and he think we were tight.
It's true.
And that's what that meant. And you knew what that meant. Okay. So yes, we saw Jason Tatum in terms of shooting was right here all game.
Yeah.
Steph, after his blazing first quarter, in the middle of that run that Ray talking about.
Yeah. Nowhere to be found, Bob.
But you know what though? They didn't make it sweet for him. Because that simple adjustment of coming out on him.
Yeah, because
that made the difference.
And because Marcus told him, right, this ain't the Heat series. Because with the Heat series, especially with Tyler Hero being out, with Jimmy, you could drop.
Yeah.
Because Jimmy don't want to shoot the tray ball. You actually want to invite Jimmy to shoot the tray ball.
I don't understand why he shot it at the end of that game, but that's neither here nor there. But I'm done.
But with Steph, you got to push up. And what for me, this is why I be saying I love Steph game, but he frustrates me sometimes. If you push up on Steph handles still stupid.
Absolutely.
Steph can still manipulate
off the dribble.
Get on to the rim.
You don't want to do it though.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I was saying. Sometimes he still settles. I know he's the greatest shooter ever. I know that. But with your handle so nice like that, you can still get on to the basket and make a play for yourself or others. You know what I'm talking about? Because after that blazing first quarter of threes, he didn't shoot the three ball well no more.
No.
Yeah.
So
my last
shoot the ball well. We know he's not guarding.
Yeah.
And I had to while Caesar talking, I'm gonna check and see how many assists he had.
Yeah, my last thought on it is this. Don't be shocked if the same thing happens only the other way, in game 2. And then when you switch over and you go, back to Boston, don't be shocked if the Boston Celtics are red hot. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be shocked if these games end in 10-point victories and somebody gets hot along the way. It's been the standard. It's the new NBA. Like, for real, it's the new NBA. All it takes is guys falling in love with the three ball instead of just getting these high percentage twos, like Wells is saying, Steph going to the basket instead of shooting these, highly contested threes. It looks good. It's great momentum boost. But what you do when you miss it is that you give that other team the opportunity to come back. That's why they were able to go on a 17-0 run. It's not that the Warriors were playing horrible. They were just missing shots that they were making in the first half. It looks good when it's going in. But when it's not, and the other team gets their confidence, by the time you figure it out, it's too late. And then you're down, 1-0 in your series. And now you're trying to figure out a way to scramble when you don't really have to. There's no need. Neither one of these teams, regardless of outcome in these next 2 games, have to scramble. You just go back and play ball and execute.
Yeah.
2 best teams left, you go and execute.
Well, I end on this. Let's go ahead and put it on some. We already talked about it in our group text.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, as my brother Caesar said, we might have to for a fee have to give y'all a sneak peek of the brothers group text. But I had
it's worth it, America.
But before the series started, I had Celtics. I think JoJo being silly talking about Celtics in 11. So I'm gonna take that as he got Celtics.
Oh man,
that brother does crazy. T, who you got?
I said Warriors in 7.
T got Warriors. Caesar Leo, who you got?
I'm taking the Celtics. I don't know if it's 6 or 7, but I am taking the Celtics because of this. If it goes to those later games, it is going to come down to stops. And I still believe in defense, and I still believe in the postseason possessions are a premium. And when you talk about that, I just think the Celtics have that defensive prowess to get a stop when they need it most. So I'll go ahead and go with the Celtics.
All right, so and like I said, I got Celtics, but I don't like it, America. Like I told y'all, this is a nightmare because if the Celtics win, they about to break the tie. And Jason Tatum was supposed to be a Laker, but Irvin Magic Johnson, who I love, chose Lonzo Ball. LeVar finessed him. I love LeVar, but LeVar finessed Irvin Magic Johnson to pick Lonzo Ball instead of Jason Tatum. And if the Warriors pull this out, let's say T's theory comes to light, the experience comes into play. Kuminga starts being an energy guy and does some things. Gary Payton Jr. come out there, Steph just goes crazy or whatever. If the Warriors win, then America trying to tell me that Steph Curry is better than Kobe Bean Bryant. So I can't deal with that.
You can't win either way.
I will be insufferable if I have to deal with those arguments.
You might have to deal with them.
You're not going with that.
You might have to deal with them. You just prepare your mind. Prepare your mind. If it don't happen, it don't happen. But prepare your mind, because that's what America's trying to tell you. I don't buy it.
I see my mental health, my blood pressure, everything going on. Let me end this segment. All right, America, y'all chime in and tell us who y'all got in this series. Put it on something. My kids wanted me to tell y'all to make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me across all social media platforms, like the videos, and share them. Did I forget anything?
And turn on the post notifications.
Y'all heard them. And also, visit Statement Tees, LLC.com and shop with us. That's Statement Tees. Every t-shirt you wear
makes a statement.